Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, in the studio. It's Tuesday, chipping away at the work week. Okay, we got one more day left. Probably less than that, actually, if you want to start counting the hours before the trade deadline in Major League Baseball. I think the Cardinals are done. What do you think?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. 5 o'clock this afternoon or this evening, however you want to determine it chronologically, that's the deadline, 5 o'clock Central Time, 6 o'clock on the East Coast. Well, there's plenty of time to make a deal, and some of the rumored Cardinals have not gone. Here's a tip-off for you. Cardinals play the Minnesota Twins tonight. On the mound for the Cardinals, penciled in, is Jack Flaherty. All right, if he pitches tonight, then nothing's going to happen. However, if all of a sudden he is scratched, like this afternoon from that pitching assignment, you'll know he's been traded. Flaherty goes against Pablo Lopez tonight. That'll be a pretty good one. Flaherty and Carlson are the guys who are rumored to be on the block, but hey, we'll wait and see. This is the final day, and after 5 o'clock Central Time, there is no more dealing until after the World Series.
All right, well, we'll see what happens if they pull that. If they wait till the last minute to pull that one, I'll be shocked. I don't have a feeling that anyone really is going to pay what the Cardinals think he's worth, though. So we'll see, though. All right, U.S. Ladies Soccer continues their march down under. When do they play in the World Cup?
They played today. They just got through a short time ago. Played in Auckland, New Zealand, and they played Portugal. Now, here's the formula. USA wins or ties, and they go to the round of 16, which is called the knockout round. That means one loss, and you're gone. In pool play, you could lose maybe one and still be around. Well, win or tie. USA settled for a tie. And, Mike, this was the basic of all ties. Nothing. A scoreless draw with Portugal. All the USA needed, they are into the round of 16 and play again next week. And then it becomes really critical because you're on or in the march to the World Cup, which the USA is favored to win. But boy, nothing to a team that they had beaten soundly in previous matches. Okay, we'll see what happens.
That's the one thing about I only really watch or pay attention to soccer during major events, World Cups, etc., tournaments. But that's my one thing about it, man, is like, if you're going to have a sports game where it ends when no one scores, come on. Gotta give me something. All right, former Chiefs player is getting a little bit of a spanking from the NFL, if you will. He's in trouble.
2-game suspension for the use of performance-enhancing drugs. And now, whether or not this is his first time, I don't know. I think it may not be. But regardless of that, who is the Chiefs running back who they let go at the end of this past season, the one that just completed with this Super Bowl win? Who would surprise you as maybe having that? How about Ron Jones? Hardly played at all. Came over from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, he was with the Chiefs through the Super Bowl. Anyway, Jones, who's an All-American Southern Cal, picked up by the Dallas Cowboys and discovered to have been using performance-enhancing drugs. So the NFL said, you are out for the first 2 games of the National Football League season, and that is out without pay. All righty, we'll see what happens.
You're going to get popped eventually. Might not get caught today, but eventually you're going to get caught. I don't know why you even risk it. We are talking baseball, and the Cardinals, of course, have till 5 o'clock to make any moves. We discussed that earlier in the show. Regardless of what they do in the rest of the trade deadline, they still have a game to play tonight, and Flaherty's getting the start, right?
Through the month of August and through the month of September, hey, you play out the schedule, 162 games. Cardinals begin play tonight, 13 games under the 500 mark. They are 47-60, and they are 11.5 games out of first place in the National League Central. The Cardinals have pretty much raised the white flag. We give up. We're not going to be able to contend. But again, you never know. The Cardinals play the Minnesota Twins tonight. The Twins are a contender in the American League Central Division, but they are coming off getting swept in a weekend series. And swept by whom? The Kansas City Royals. So this team is going to be very much on edge. They are throwing their ace, Pablo Lopez. They got him from the Miami Marlins during the winter in exchange for Luis Arraez, who is one of the leading hitters in baseball. And Jack Flaherty is penciled in as the Cardinals starting pitcher tonight. wait and see. If all of a sudden he is scratched this afternoon, you'll know there's been a deal made. If not, then that's the end of it. He won't go anywhere until after the season. That's the matchup there tonight.
What about the Royals? Where are they at?
Royals are hosting the New York Mets tonight. Well, the Mets have been a major disappointment. They come into Kauffman Stadium, play Kansas City, and the Royals are hot. And the Springbirds are home tonight, and they are playing very well. The Springfield Cardinals will take on Northwest Arkansas. That's the Kansas City Royals AA Farm Club. A chance for Royals fans to see what's down there, what's in the farms. Can the Royals get any better? Actually, maybe they can. I like the Royals team the way it is right now, but I know they haven't done very much. But they've got some pretty good talent on that ball club. It just hasn't come to maturity yet. I do think it will.
Fingers crossed. But at least I have a good feeling. Even when a team loses that many games at this point of the year, I still feel like that team has at least a good head on their shoulders. Fingers crossed. All right. So Chris Jones obviously dealing with the contract talk. He's not the only one, though. That's not. There are actually a few guys that are going to try and get that bag or at least get paid from the Chiefs. What do you think? Do you think? I know that Chris has been working on his own and his own training facility. How does that work? Does he just kind of try and follow what he remembers from training camp?
Well, I think he probably has a pretty good sense. His days at Mississippi State, he went through a lot of drills, and with the Chiefs all these years, he has been able to formulate a pattern in his own mind as to what he needs to be accomplishing in the offseason, or the idle period. What is not figured into that mix is the fine, Mike, and he is fined $50,000 a day. Now, the critics or maybe the cynics might say, the Chiefs will write that off. And in the old days, they would. But that was the old days. Under the new contract, they are not allowed. The owners and the team are not allowed to write off the fine. The player has to pay it himself. And right now, Chris Jones is up to $550,000 in fines. Now, to him, I'm sure that's not all that much. He makes about, $19 million a year. But $550,000 at this point and being fined $50,000 a day? Whoa, watch out, sports fans.
I mean, money's money, and there's a reason why if you've ever been in the serving industry or the food industry and you've ever waited on someone that does have a lot of money, they're not usually the best tippers in the world. And there's a reason why, because they held on to every dime they got. So, Chris, if you're listening, go back to camp. Ned, see you tomorrow.